Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Kilkerran Heavily Peated. Batch number 6 comes in at 57.4% ABV. Dustin. Kilkerran, another chance. Another chance at a distillery we're trying hard to like. Heavily peated, it's a good sign. The 6th attempt, which means it's kind of a young offering as far as how long they've been putting it out.
And their pull in progress means that these are getting older as they do them. So I bought the Heavily Peated Batch 2, Mike.
Yes.
It's pretty much undrinkable to me. This one, however, substantially darker. Has an actual bit of color to it. Mm-hmm. And they both used decent amount of sherry casks in the mix, so the first one just didn't fit any time in a cask. This one's got some nice color. And an interesting thing to note, Mike, Springbank has gone to 700s for all their American offerings. Mm-hmm. Kilkerran are still 750s.
What a joy.
Don't know what's going on there.
I'm sure this is natural color, unchill filtered.
Yeah.
As they all are, cask strength. All those things are some big positives for me.
Absolutely.
Big positives. I love peated whiskey.
I do too.
Let's get to it.
And this is definitely peated whiskey.
Yep. I love some smoke in my whiskey, that's for sure.
Definitely is a lighter peat than your Isla's.
Not quite as funky as your Springbank.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as smoky as Springbank and Long Road tend to be either. It's there, but it's very buttery. Like, I mean, this smells like straight up a stick of butter has been melted in here.
A little bit of salt.
Definitely salty.
A little bit of sour. Twinge of sour.
Yeah.
Probably from a bourbon cask maturation. This is kind of young up, would be my guess.
There's some oak notes here too, and I wasn't really expecting it with the age.
That'd be my guess too. That sourness is probably coming from a fairly newer ex-bourbon cask would be my guess.
Yeah. But not first fill.
Mm-mm. Probably second or third though.
Very pleasant, obviously youthful. But, I'm not getting any, ethanol notes of youth. Mm-mm. So we're getting, some youth notes where, I'm almost getting a hint of, a banana note coming through here. It's not an underripe. It's kind of actually, maybe even going bad a little bit.
That's why the world created peat. So you could spice up some younger whiskey. Hide a few flaws.
Absolutely.
And that's what this is doing. I have no problem with that whatsoever, Dustin.
It's working well. Honestly, it's very pleasant. Nothing wow. It's not super smoky. Again, I keep coming back to that. It's an earthy peat.
Yeah, it's an earthy peat. Yeah, it's not campfire smoke or wood smoke or any of that. It's just sort of very, maybe smoke simmering underneath the ground somehow. Maybe a campfire you threw some dirt on, something like that.
Now that I'm really kind of dissecting this, I'm actually thinking clay, like clay pots that you just
fire through some dirt on.
Yeah.
Fire through some dirt on.
But as I'm kind of going through this one, I'm really kind of giving it an objective scoring, kind of a nosing. I am getting a little bit of twinge of the alcohol that is, again, giving me a little bit of youth. It's not an unpleasant. It's just the twinge that probably shouldn't be there that's coming through with youth.
Twinge of that, twinge of sour. Mm-hmm. Kind of sachets into a lemon, though, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Lemon, vanilla, smoke. Pretty straightforward on the nose, anyway. There is some, it has a decent density to it. It's fairly meaty.
Yeah. And the palate. Very meaty, very chewy, very oily, very simple. It goes a few places I like, a few places I don't like. So you're getting that nice vanilla up front. Then you get sort of the waves of peatiness, oakiness, a little bit of light chocolate, almost like a white fudge or something maybe comes in there. And then you just sort of get this bit of sourness comes through, a little funk that's a little weird. Definitely, then it kind of gets earthy. Then it kind of gets spicy and kind of biting on the palate. And it kind of lingers with that and some oak on the finish. This is a hard one to compare anything else to. This reminds me of some young peated blends I've had in the past.
Vanilla, red hots, and funk. Those three things initially.
Let's see that.
And it does get kind of smoky. A little charcoal clay. Mm-hmm. And the funkiness kind of turns into chocolate-covered burnt rubber.
I didn't quite get to rubber, but I can see where you're going, yeah.
With the car peeled out, but you're eating a chocolate bar. You get to smell the car, but you're eating the chocolate bar. There's something tarry.
I can see that, yeah.
Not in a bad way, though.
Oh, like maybe like they just on the streets, actually, is more kind of the tar note I'm getting here.
Mm-hmm. Like you're smelling it and eating chocolate.
Don't think I've ever done that, but okay.
Right. Yeah, you don't think I'd be an early chocolate guy.
Just sitting out there with a Hershey's chocolate bar at the drag strip.
Yeah. It's a weird day.
It's melted. Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, but then it kind of goes in. You're right. I mean, it's not only is it kind of a cinnamon spice, but man, there's salt here. There's pepper here, like a good black pepper too.
Yeah, when I said spicy, I mean like a lot of different
spices.
sharp spices
Yeah,
for sure.
Sharp spices.
Like nothing like jumped out as like an obvious one. But you're right, salts for sure here. Cinnamon,
Salt, cinnamon,
definitely
pepper,
is
but
around.
those are all very distinct spices.
Got some water over there, Mike. Let's
Yeah, absolutely.
put a splash on this thing. Yeah, just getting a little bit of little hints of youth here and there. That's where I'm. It's starting to come around. Like I think they're getting ready for this to be like a product they can actually sell and no longer call it in progress. I think they're going to be ready for a full on batch here by batch 10 for sure. Maybe by batch 8 or 9.
Yeah, I remember when Ardbeg used to come out with that young stuff, and they said like 4 discussion and like 4-year-old
Yeah.
and 6-year-old. Then we've regressed back to that on some of the committee releases lately. We're right back to that 4 discussion. And you ain't like where this discussion's going.
Well, then they started doing the list of committee releases where it's like, we effed up, drink it anyway.
Oh, anyway.
Our shit broke. Enjoy. Well, the water actually cleaned it up a little bit, brought out a little bit more of the sherry.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more vibrant fruits now.
Yeah.
A couple like little shining citrus fruits in here.
Brought more of that chocolate note out. Like instead of being like vanilla first, it's like chocolate, vanilla, but it's like now it's like 55-45.
No more smoking the bandit. All the rubber's gone.
Yeah, I don't get much. I mean, really, the smoke kind of is gone here too.
Agreed. It's twinge
Earthy.
Yes, there's still a twinge of funkiness and earthiness though.
Yeah.
It handled water pretty well. It's high ABV though.
Ooh.
Young whiskey and high ABV usually that goes hand in hand.
Oh, nice,
If
nice.
it doesn't, you got a problem.
Yeah, so the water really sweetened it up, cleaned it up a ton. Oh man, yeah. Drop of water on this one, guys. That did some hero work there. I mean, it brought the chocolates forward. It made the spices less. The bitterness went down. Finish is still a little funky, still a little young. Maybe has a little bit of plasticine note or something, but yeah, really cleaned it up. That's pleasant.
Simplified it, but the things it took away were things that wasn't necessarily in love with in the first place. You're right. It's got a nice sweet vanilla.
Yeah.
Smoke is insubstantial but still there. The
Yeah.
spices are dialed down, so they're far more tolerable.
I'm still not in love with the Kilkerran malt by any stretch,
Nope.
but it's just not a malt that I'm really appreciating.
Maybe when it gets older.
Well, I mean, we've had a 15-year Kilkerran that was pretty darn good.
Couple, yeah.
The old, I tell you, the Kilkerran's gone actually down in quality in my estimation, which is weird. Not in this case, because this is the peat in progress. This is substantially better than 2, but
Yep.
they've been doing some weird stuff with their malt.
Or just where as far
Anyway.
as a whiskey score on this one.
I'm going to be nice on this one. I'm going to give it a solid 83. I think it's it's B minus whiskey. That was what it was in high school. It was an 83. I'm going to give it an 83.
Okay, I'm going to be slightly more generous than this. I was back and forth doing 2 scores, and I was relatively impressed with this one, so I'm going to give the higher of my 2 scores, which is an 86.
Okay.
Solid peated whiskey, a little funky. Whiskey's got to go somewhere. Everything can be cookie cutter. Of a lot of the Kilkerrans I've had, this is, of the younger ones, this is not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
86. I'd drink it again.
Yeah, I'm not upset with the bottle. I wish it'd been $50, but I understand in today's world of its cask strength, they probably use decent casks.
How old do you think this is?
Oh, my guess is 6 years.
I was going to say 5 or 6 years old.
I think the bulk of this is it's batch number 6. And I'm guessing most of what's in here is 6-year-old.
Yeah, I would say
Whiskey.
5. I would say 5, 6-year-old whiskey.
There could be 4-year whiskey in here, but I'm going to say my guess would be 6 years.
Anyway, those are our thoughts on the whiskey. Kilkerran peated, heavily peated. Heavily peated?
Yep.
Heavily peated. Batch 6, those are our thoughts on the whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try this one, let us know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy progressive drinking.
We'll see you then.